Hi there, my name is Maria Oreska and I'm responsible for product development at Infinity. In this Tech Tuesday video, I want to explain to you a feature that's called highlighting in Infinity Flow. As you will see, it's an application of a click-native approach that's called data brushing. On my screen, you can see a demo application about the support ticket process. On the left side, there is Infinity Flow that's defining or visualizing the process, and it's linked to my support tickets in Infinity Forms object. When I make a selection, by default, in Click, I will see only related nodes, only related steps of the process in Infinity Flow object. However, thanks to highlighting, when I make a selection, I still see the whole process. It just grayed out. And the node, the step of the process that's linked to my selection, to my support ticket ID, it's still colorful. That can be very handy when it comes to visualizing processes, hierarchies, networks. Therefore, we decided to implement this in Infinity Flow. So let me switch to another application, a simplified version, where I will show it to you. So here I do have Infinity Forms object with 3 documents and their IDs, Infinity Flow visualizing the process, and in these 2 tables, you can see the definition of Infinity Flow. So the steps of the process, the nodes, are defined in this table in a data model. So by using field step ID, step, and step type that defines the design of the node. And the lines are defined by the combination of 2 fields, step from and step to. It's my best practice to see tables that are defining my Infinity Flow during the development phase. It's very helpful, especially if you are playing with selections and click associations. So right now, when I select specific step ID, it's selected and I lost the context. When I select specific file, only the related step ID is shown to me and I lost the context. The way how I can keep the context here is explained in the documentation. So I can go to the properties panel of my Infinity Flow object, and in the section about you can find a link to the documentation. In a developer section, there is the second subsection, data brushing, where this is explained. It starts with 2 links to 2 click gurus who posted their thoughts and examples about the data brushing concept. So if you are keen to know the details and how it works technically and how to use it in other charts in your Click, I highly recommend those 2 posts. For those who just want to implement it, we'll scroll down to the example section and copy and paste those 2 expressions. As you see, the logic is based on click set analysis and the way how it affects click selections based on click associations. When I copy the expression from step 1, I won't forget that there is step 2 I need to come back to, okay? As is written here, I need to copy and paste this expression to the highlight condition. And since this option is linked to nodes, to my steps, I'll go to the nodes section in my properties panel, scroll down and paste the expression in the highlight condition. As you see in this expression, there is node ID used. That's a field I don't have in my data model, so I need to replace it. And I need to replace it by the field that's used in the definition of node ID. In my case, node ID definition is in the field step ID, so I'll copy and paste it to the highlighting expression. As mentioned, I need to do the step 2 and update my label definition. The reason is that technically a label is measure. So it works well if used this way when you don't use the highlighting condition, because the only function used by click, even if it's not shown here. But when I use the highlighting condition, I need to update it. So again, I need to replace node ID by the field that defines my nodes. So it was step ID, and node label by the field that defines my node label. When I select the specific step ID, it works exactly how I want it. However, if I select a specific file ID, I still lose the context of the process. Sometimes that's exactly the behavior I want. When I want to, for example, select a subset of hierarchy or subset of a very large process definition. But in our case, let's say that's not what I want. When I select the specific file, I want the same behavior as if I select step ID. In that case, I need to enhance those two expressions just a bit. So in case of node label, I need to add another field to this set analysis, the field that is going to be used for selections and should be respected when it comes to highlighting. So let me very quickly check how it's called. Okay, so it's ID. And back to node label and paste it here. I also need to update the highlight condition, and I'll do it the same way. So within the set analysis definition, I add the other field that should be respected when it comes to highlighting. You don't need to update this count part. It works well if you keep it this way. Let's try it again. Pretty simple, especially if you are not trying to understand the technology behind it, but pretty simple to implement, yet very helpful for Infinity Flow implementations. I really hope you agree with me, and until the next Tech Tuesday video, enjoy Flow!